Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to an episode of the Wrestling Laureate Podcast. They're brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you today. We will be covering a little bit of NXT review as well as a little bit of AEW preview. Um, Also, we have a couple of headlines in the news today. One of them being Mercedes Moné, her contract that she obtained with Tony Khan and the AEW. And also, it's sad, but it has to be covered. Bray Wyatt's new documentary. It's not sad that Bray Wyatt is coming out with a documentary. It's the fact that we lost Bray last year, but we'll get all into that later. But like always, we get a number of questions asked for the show. So for me to be able to read it on air and to ensure that I actually read it on air, use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net with your questions. This puts your questions on top of the list so I can see it, so we can have a nice little back and forth conversation, talk about wrestling, good old-fashioned wrestling. It also helps the show. So again, we love peace, love, and positivity. Leave a positive review. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Sometimes it could be negative, but a negative could be, like in math, 2 negatives equal a positive. So again, the link is the gsmcpodcast.net. So go ahead and, hook that up. So first of all, let's go and talk about NXT. NXT was pretty big yesterday, to be exact. A lot of stuff heading towards Stand and Deliver, especially with Trick Williams coming back. And the feud with Carmelo Hayes, it's going to be like super sick to watch. But to kind of start out, we had Roxanne Perez facing, I think it was Tatum Paxley. Tatum Paxley was sticking up for her friend Valkyrie, the NXT Women's Champion, trying to basically get justice for her. But all in all, she ended up getting her butt kicked anyways. But honestly, I think with this with WrestleMania coming, right around the corner. I think a lot of the WWE superstars throughout, SmackDown, Raw, NXT, you can kind of see them step it up knowing that they're night one. There's going to be an amazing tag team match between Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns and The Rock. And of course, you have that night two star-studded heavyweight title contendership against Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. But it's going to be a pretty big weekend. Stand and Deliver is going to be on Saturday morning. Obviously, for people to kind of attend the show, or kind of just watch the show, the superstars are going to have to step it up. You kind of have to be in that contemporary, that status quo of main event WrestleMania, main event worthy, content, which I think honestly NXT is doing a pretty good job of. But so I honestly have no complaints. But Roxanne Perez, she won the match with a crossface. She tapped out Tatum Paxley, building up momentum toward toward Stand and Deliver. Ultimately, it's all going to lead to, Valkyrie versus Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship, which was confirmed, actually, even when she was getting her arm taped up, and then she told Ava that she wanted to fight her for the title. And to be honest, I don't know who's going to win. I would like to kind of provide you guys with a nice little prediction, but I think the WWE creative can go either way here. You can have a Valkyrie retain it and kind of have somebody try to face her for it, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Roxanne Perez right, up at that altar waiting to fight again. So I don't know if they're going to give the strap to Valkyrie, but obviously she's, the strap to Roxanne Perez, but Perez, she's, she has so much controversy around her. She has that, those mic skills. She has that ability to kind of get under the WWE universe's skin that I think they can use that to their advantage, going into NXT Stand and Deliver. So should be interesting to see what happens next. Next, it's kind of like a small little smidge, but during NXT, one of the announcers kind of referenced the Booker T and the CM Punk thing that's kind of going viral right now in the wrestling world, that Booker T has a problem with CM Punk. It has not yet been confirmed. It's been denied, that Booker T basically said that they're fine, they're cool. CM Punk has actually been helping a lot with the NXT, but I think one of the other announcers told Booker T, like, "Oh, CM Punk's returning to Chicago next Monday Night Raw. Your favorite wrestler." And then Booker T said his Hall of Fame catchphrase, "Tell me you didn't just say that." And it was just, I don't know. I honestly, as a viewer for wrestling, I thought that was pretty cool. Um, but moving on, we had Alpha Academy versus they fought Metaphor, but to no avail. Alpha Academy ultimately had to challenge the Wolf Dogs, Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker, to a match next week. If they win, they're in. That's kind of crazy, to be honest. Like, you have this triple threat tag team match, but I think Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin really doubt the abilities of Alpha Academy. Well, they said it with all due respect. Usually, when you start a sentence off with all due respect, something bad's probably going to follow after that. And so, Tozawa and Otis, like I said, if it was Chad Gable and Otis, I think it'd be a lot more different representing the Alpha Academy. But since you have Tozawa, Tozawa was kind of that guy that everybody let, WWE creative kind of put in matches to, like, be like, "Hey, let's show how strong this guy can be. Let's throw this Tozawa guy 3/4 across the ring. Let's throw this Tozawa guy off the top rope, off the ropes, over the ropes, and let's just see what happens here." So honestly, I don't think Tozawa is going to be, much of an asset for the Alpha Academy, because the Alpha Academy it's pretty promising, to be honest. Like, Chad Gable. Oh man. Um, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. I don't want to say they're trying to fill that, like, void, like that Kurt Angle void, but I'm gonna go ahead and say they're trying to fill that Kurt Angle void, where he's had professional wrestling experience, where he has competed in the Olympics and stuff. Like, he has been, a decorated athlete, like, throughout, like, high school, college. Like, they're gonna try to make Chad Gable here, like, kind of stick out. And honestly, he deserves it. He's very talented. He's good on the mic. He has that, like that good guy battling demons, but you can't help but root for the good guy battling the demons. Or what he said to Sami Zayn about him, how he's not ready for Gunther. Which Sami Zayn, like I said, the argument is pretty legitimate. But I don't know, it's interesting to see what happens to Alpha Academy next week on NXT. Moving on. Um, there was a promo that had me rolling, like, straight up rolling laughing. Metaphor was basically talking. It was Noam Dar, basically talking about how he couldn't help to get his hands on Trick Williams to beat him up. And then you had Lashes in the background. She was like, "Yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on that man again." And everyone was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, oh, fight him. We're going to beat him up." And she was like, "Yeah, yeah, that's what I meant." But in reality, we all know that, somebody wants a piece of Trick Williams. Why not? He's awesome. He's, very talented. He's a handsome dude. He's good on the mic. He's gonna be a flourishing wrestler. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if within the next mm, probably next Royal Rumble, he'll probably make his debut, like, at, like, number 23. Trick Williams comes out and probably gets eliminated by, like, Brock Lesnar or Gunther or something. I don't know, but I don't know. I hope he does really well. I really, really like Trick Williams. I think he does really good with the WWE storylines. He's able to kind of he's like the antagonist, but at the same time he could be the good guy. So honestly, I don't know. Trick Williams, that's the man right there. Moving on. So we did have what I thought was gonna happen, and so Josh Briggs ended up challenging Obafemi to a match at Stand and Deliver. But as they were trying to, like, consolidate it all, Djax interrupted. And once again, much like my speculation for the United States Championship, I think this is going to end up like kind of like a triple threat match. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. You have three great competitors fighting. You have that Josh Briggs aspect of trying to avenge your friend, bro. Like, you hurt my friend. And then you have Obafemi as like that like high end Nigerian, just like badass that's able to like just beat the shit talking mushrooms out of everybody. And then you have Djax coming out. It's kind of like that wild card. So you know that plus that, it all equals a nice little equation for a pretty darn good match, especially at Stand and Deliver. Because you know, kind of like a side note, Stand and Deliver is kind of like the not the pre-show per se to WrestleMania Saturday, but kind of like the pre-show per se. Like, it starts off in the morning, it's gonna start out guns blazing, and if it doesn't, um, you know, a lot of these NXT stars probably have a lot of pressure on them to kind of perform at like extraordinary abilities to kind of like, hey, Triple H is probably like, hey, come on, guys, you guys are the warm up. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of time, like if you've been to like a comedy show or a music performance, you have people who perform before like the main stagers to kind of warm up the crowd and to kind of showcase the ability, because the crowd's kind of essentially there to kind of, you know, kind of watch the main event. Which kind of, you know, like a little another side note. I know Ring of Honor and I think New Japan Wrestling and TNA Impact are having shows in Philadelphia around the time of WrestleMania, which is smart. You know, that's good marketing. Like, you know, wrestling fans are going to be in one demographic. You're going to want to, you know, kind of have shows, produce shows that are available for, you know, for people to attend. So I don't know. That's, you know, kind of something that we, you know, often think about. Um, but moving on, so Axiom and Frazier fought against the No Quarter Catch crew. They picked Charlie Dempson and Miles Bourne. Ultimately, they came up short. Axiom and Fraser were able to win with that badass Axiom Spanish fly off the top rope. I don't know why, but I really like seeing the Spanish fly. I think that's dope. I think you know, it includes like kind of like chemistry between you and the opponent, where you have to trust the guy to do like kind of like a backflip with you, and then the guy like producing it, like where he goes, and then like he like lands on the ring. That honestly probably has to take a lot of trust and like a lot of like, you know, faith that you're not gonna like break your neck or, you know, hurt your back or something like that. So Axum and Frazier, they move on with the LWO in this triple threat tag team match to find out who faces Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, the Wolf Dogs. Also, moving on, we have Soruka defeating a Brinley Reese. So I don't know if you guys ever watched Soruka like wrestle, but she's pretty darn good. I don't know if anybody paid attention to her finishing move, the Soul Snatcher. Like, she runs up to the top rope, and then she'll do like kind of like a forward front flip and grab the competitor by their head and like slam them down to the ground. And like, even if this stuff's choreographed, that looks like that thing hurt. Like, if like something goes wrong, like it seems like you'd be way boned after that. Like, it seems like that's like, you know, that like you can end someone's career like that. Soruka, how could you do? I'm just kidding. Um, but anyway, she picked up the win, and she's building momentum toward what she had before she got injured. So I hope, like, probably within the next couple of months, she's probably going to be the number one contender to face off the NXT Women's Champion, which is good because she's, you know, good for television. Next is the Heritage Cup between Riley Osborne and Drew Gulak. To be honest, I never really knew what the Heritage Cup was all about. And once when I found out the rules and stuff like that, it's actually kind of cool. It's kind of cool the way they do it. Like, it's kind of like a best out of three Iron Man match, plus like UFC and boxing. You have timed rounds. You have whoever gets 2 out of 3. If it's no disqualification, or at the end of the day, if the pinfalls are tied, then the match goes to the champion. And I think it's kind of cool. And Riley Osborne and Drew Gulak fought a pretty good match. Osborne started off pretty strong. He got the first fall within the first round. Drew Gulak followed with the second fall in the second round. And Drew Gulak finally finished it off for the no quarter catch crew in round 3 and was able to win the match and retain the Heritage Cup. So I've always liked Gulak. Gulak's a good wrestler. He's, like I said, he was part of like 205 Live, and he was like the cruiserweight. But he knows how to work the mic. And in the wrestling world, if you know how to, use the mic and get under people's skin, especially the other wrestlers or the fans, to be honest, you can make a killing in this, in this kind of organization, in this kind of, sports entertainment industry. Um, so they retained the Heritage Cup, which is pretty big. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, per Sports Illustrated, has been confirmed for Stand and Deliver, which is pretty badass because that's one of the matches that I don't know if it's going to be the the main event because you have D'Angelo versus Dragunov, but honestly, I would kind of like this to see these guys just go at it in like a street fight or something like that. Like that would be so cool. Hell in a Cell, triple cage, elimination chamber between two guys. No, that's not gonna happen. But I don't know. I think that'd be pretty cool. Um, and finally to kind of end it, we had the OC moving forward in a tag team triple threat, defeating Hank Walker and Tanka Ledger. And of course, that last match between Trick and Noam Dar was just like a flex on how Trick Williams hasn't missed a step and that he's going to be right in your alley pretty soon. And he's going to be beating the heck out of Carmelo Hayes. So, yeah, that was segment 1. A lot of action that was being unpacked for NXT, but don't go anywhere. We got segment 2 coming up pretty rapid here. We have an AEW preview. We have Adam Copeland, Christian Cage in an I Quit match for the TNT Championship. We also have Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks, if you're a WWE fan. Also, you have Eddie Kingston against Okada, and that's going to be a pretty darn good match for the Continental Championship. So, hey, don't go anywhere.